So, this email was sent to my employer today saying to fire open bigot Mary Davis. So, for those who do not know me, my name is Mary Davis. I am Christian Palestinian born in the United States. I do have family in Bethlehem, Palestine, and I filmed a documentary back in 2016 and completed it in 2017. It's called Christians of Palestine Life Behind the Wall, which focuses on the Israeli occupation and how that affects everyone within the occupied territories in the West Bank. I never realized that I would be such a target. I don't think that I have that kind of influencer following, but apparently, whatever I'm putting out is significant enough that Zionists are trolling me and trying to get me fired from my employment. So, those links that were shared to my employer are from this site, is really cool. That's ran by David Lang, who's been stalking me, and his followers have been stalking me for some time. Um, so they found my LinkedIn account recently, and that's how they found my employer. But this is the previous article. I guess you could say that they basically screenshot all my social media, trying to paint me as an anti-Semite. Um, Again, I have my own views because I think that Palestinians and Arabs are Semitic. I mean, it's really about Semitic languages, right? So Arabic is a Semitic language. The way that that term has been used is incorrect. But anyway, I just want you to see that what I post was always about the elite and about those in charge doing things that are hurting our people, right? And I call that out. I never attack the Jewish people. I'm always attacking Zionists, and actually Christian Zionists I attack as well, not just those who are Jewish. So it's very interesting. But anyway, I just want to go over some of my posts and kind of like what I was talking about here. Not that I need to justify any of it, but basically, Mark Lamont Hill was fired for anti-Semitism, or so they said, which wasn't really anti-Semitism. But then he's saying, this conspiracy theories that, that the Jews have global domination. And I'm not saying that Jews have global domination, but the Zionists do. And I think that needs to be distinguished. And I was proving that to him with the act.il site that is actually ran by the Israeli government. Not sure if it's still active at this point, but I had it downloaded at the time. So what this app contained or consisted of was all the social media apps. So like Instagram, Facebook, I think Twitter was even on there, YouTube. If somebody didn't like the post that you had on there, or they felt like it was damaging to their cause or whatever, the Zionists and Israelis that joined it and their supporters, then they would come and smear you. They would either try to report the actual post to get it off of Facebook or social media, or they would comment like similar comments to make it look like that is the majority of public opinion, right? So they're trying to curve public opinion in their favor. And they used this app to do that. And it was sponsored by the Israeli government. And so I was making that point there. The Rothschild family, 1917, the Balfour Declaration says, "Dear Lord Rothschild." It's about Zionists. It talks about the Zionist Federation. You should go read the letter. It's online for everybody to see. There's an interview with the fourth Baron Lord Rothschild, where he admits to his family's participation in helping to create Israel. He says he's Jewish. They are a Jewish banking dynasty, the Rothschild family. So they're very wealthy. They're very rich. They're not poor people. They didn't suffer in the Holocaust. And that's the point that I'm making, is that the people in charge are not practicing Judaism. They're not religious. And what they're pushing is not something good for humanity in general. Also, you have the Havara Agreement, which was the transfer of goods. They basically transferred all the Zionist banking and things like that and property over to Palestine. And the agreement between Nazi government in Germany and the Zionist Federation was that the Zionists would not participate in the boycotts of German goods. And so that's what happened. So yeah, there was some agreements. And think about it this way. There were agreements, there was communication between Zionists and Nazis, and they participated together to make this happen, right? But they can't have communication. Israel cannot have communication with the Palestinians. The Nazis were responsible for killing 6 million Jews, right? That's the narrative. Well, why do you hate the Palestinians so much? They weren't the ones who killed 6 million Jews. And I think that's the point that I'm always making, is how the narrative has been flipped. I also bring up Jeffrey Epstein a lot. I actually did a whole blog post on this, connecting Jeffrey Epstein to Israel, because there are a lot of connections there to Israeli leadership and Zionists who are involved. There was a former operative. I don't know if he worked for Mossad. I can't remember, but I think he worked for Israeli intelligence, and he was an Iranian Jew. And he says that Epstein was a spy for Israel. So, and then it goes into making all those connections, and it's actually a really good blog. But yeah, everything that I speak about is about the powerful, not about Jewish people as a whole. So this is their new smear campaign on me. This is LinkedIn. They found my LinkedIn, see? And oh yeah, this was one of Israel's politicians who said the children of Gaza brought this upon themselves, talking about them being bombed and killed. The children of Gaza brought this upon themselves, and I'm connecting them to the evil spirits of the Old Testament who did not follow God and believed in human and child sacrifice. Yes, I did compare them to that because I'm sorry, somebody who speaks like this is absolutely disgusting, and it should be called out. And it's a shame that our own government isn't calling out a lot of these comments that are being made by Israeli leaders. They're saying things like they would like to see another Nakba. The Nakba was a catastrophe when over 700,000 Palestinians were expelled and ethnically cleansed from their homeland. I thought they denied the Nakba, the Zionists. Now they're admitting to it, and they want to do it again. You see, I've heard them talk about the Sinai, saying, they're going to push the people from the north of Gaza to the south of Gaza, and eventually they want Egypt to open up their borders so they can push the Palestinians into the Sinai desert. I mean, this is just insane to me. And they're saying such genocidal things. Netanyahu said some things. I have it all on my page to prove it. They've said very genocidal things long before this attack ever happened. And then I got to read this one. Israeli officials appear to have deleted a video posted on social media showing Palestinian rockets being fired after realizing that the timestamp on the footage did not match up with the hospital attack. Yeah, that was the fake evidence that they were using to say that it was a Hamas rocket. The problem with that is most people who are educated on this know that Hamas rockets are not that sophisticated. There's even U.S. military officials and people on social media who are saying, like, that is not a Hamas rocket, could not take down a building like that with 500 people inside. So anyway, let me continue. Many have pointed out that the militant groups in Palestine do not have the firepower. Basically says that Israel has a history of lying about its responsibility of crimes against the Palestinian civilians, including the murder of Palestinian-American journalist Shireen Abu Akleh, which was initially blamed on Palestinians. That's so true. So initially, when that story came out, they actually posted a fake video blaming Palestinian resistance fighters, and it was a fake video. And then they were saying that the Palestinian resistance fighters killed her. Well, come to find out, if you go look at articles now, they admit that one of their soldiers most likely did that, and they're not going to prosecute anyone. So there you go. That is how their manipulation works in the media. This is the tactic that I've been seeing all along. And then also, there was, after her death, this is even worse. East Jerusalem, they had a funeral for her. They were holding her casket, the pallbearers, and they were beaten by Israeli police. And did that make the American mainstream media? I feel like if it was any other country, actually if it was a Muslim country beating on pallbearers carrying a Christian casket, that definitely would have made our headlines in the news. There is a bias in our reporting on what the Israeli government is doing, and there's a lot of lies being redacted after the fact, but people aren't paying attention because people only listen to what's put out first. And the Israeli government knows this. The American government knows this. And that's why, I think it's important for this information to be out there. My family's over there. I'm compassionate about this issue, but I'm tired of being smeared as an anti-Semite. This is the email that I wrote to my employer, and I want you all to listen to what I said in response to what the email had said about me. I said, "Good morning. The information provided is taken out of context. The Israeli politician said the children of Gaza brought this upon themselves. To me, this is someone with an evil spirit, not of God. There were also other comments made by Israeli leadership wanting another Nakba, which was the expulsion and ethnic cleansing of over 750,000 Palestinian people from their land in 1948, and speaking about pushing the Palestinian people in Gaza into the Sinai Desert. They mentioned collective punishment, turning off water, electricity, and preventing humanitarian aid to, I quote, human animals. Zionism is not Judaism, and I am unapologetically Christian Palestinian American. I do not agree with apartheid, occupation, and the kidnapping and killing of children that has been ongoing for over 75 years at the hands of the Israeli government that is not reported by our mainstream news media. I have a documentary that I directed and produced, Christians of Palestine, Light Behind the Wall. My great-grandfather was a former mayor of Bethlehem, Palestine. Zionism is supremacy, and I refuse to be silenced on this issue while over 6,500 Gazans have been slaughtered by U.S.-made bombs. More than 2,500 of those murdered are Palestinian children and babies. I've seen the dismembered bodies all over social media. The bombing has not stopped. They are not bombing Hamas, they are bombing the civilians of Gaza with an obvious objective. So far, over 100 Palestinians have also been killed in the West Bank where my family resides. I will not be silenced by racist Zionists who have openly expressed genocidal sentiments about my people and family. I'll be contacting an attorney in regards to David Lang, who makes a living silencing voices speaking up for the oppressed. And I provided sources of some of these comments that were made by Israeli officials. I will not be silenced into submission when I know that what is being pushed in the media and what our government is doing is absolutely wrong. This is about morals and ethics. It's not even about religion. The theft of land and the taking over of land, colonization of Palestinian land is still ongoing. Can you imagine? It's 2023, people, and this is still happening. It's time to wake up and to learn the truth.